Okay, so what we do, we go back to the beginning of the chapter, the divine work. Okay. And I will read the summaries of each one until we come to 268. Agreed? Hello?
Yes, Rangada.
Okay.
Yes, Rangada.
Yes, Rangada.
Okay, we'll do that. So, I am reading the summary of the first paragraph first. Okay? One question remains to be answered in the path of Karma Yoga for the sadhaka of the integral yoga. When he has reached the end of the journey, is there any work left for the liberated soul? And if so, what would be its purpose? Okay, that's the question is asking. So, the soul has reached this state. This is a description of the end of the journey. What it means is equality is now well established in the nature. He has risen to the self, and now he is absolutely equal to everything. Nothing from the physical world affects him. A liberation from ego idea and ego sense is completed. In other words, no ego also. So equality and ego. Next, egoistic self-will and desires are abolished. He doesn't have any desire also, and no egoistic self-will. Self-consecration has been made in heart and mind and everywhere in the being. Whatever he is doing, he is offering to the divine. Next, Trigunatita nature has been achieved. Then next, the soul has seen the master of works and is unified with him. Next, ignorance is there no more. So these 6 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points, what he means by end of the journey. So once he has reached this condition, is there any work for him to do? That's a question. So most yogas in India say there is no work to be done. All you do is exist. That's all. Whatever you are doing for the divine. So the soul has reached this state. So what work then remains for him at all? And what would be the purpose and spirit? So if he is doing any work at all, what would be its purpose and spirit? In what spirit should he do it? Here is what Swami is asking in the first paragraph. Now we go to the second paragraph. The second paragraph is saying, one second. Oh. The second paragraph, I don't have the summary, so I'll do, it's not a very big paragraph, it's a small paragraph. So Shri is saying, you can also follow in the text. Okay? It is page 264. We are reading
64.
264.
264.
There is one answer with which we are familiar in India. No work at all remains, but the rest is quiescence. When the soul can live in the eternal presence of the Supreme, or when it is unified with the Absolute, the object of our existence in the world, if it can be said to have an object at all, at once ceases. Man, released from the curse of self-division and the curse of ignorance, is released too from that other affliction, the curse of works. By the way, note that Sridhar is not saying this one. He is saying what is familiar in India. We must be very careful. He has started with There is one answer with which we are familiar in India. So all that is saying now is not Swayambhu saying. It is a normal idea in India. Okay? Man is released from the curse of action. That's what he said. The curse of works. But according to Swayambhu, works are not at all a curse. It's a blessings. Okay. All action would then be a derogation from the supreme state and a return into the ignorance. This is what the normal idea in India is. If you want to do action, then you are going back into the ignorance. Because you will fall into the net of the senses. Which is not true, but that's what the Indian idea is. This attitude towards life is supported by an idea founded on the error of the vital nature to which action is dictated only by one or all of three inferior motives. This is a general idea and the mistake is coming because of these three ideas, inferior motives. Necessity. Actually, there is no necessity at all because the divine will provide you whatever you want. But you feel that yes, it is necessary. I have to go to the market and get a soap. It's not necessary at all for you to do that. If the divine really wants, you really need it, he will provide you. Sounds very funny, but it's absolutely true. Total surrender, the divine takes care of it fully. The second, restless instinct. And the third, impulse of desire. Impulse or desire. These three things make you do, and when you have desire or restlessness or necessity, naturally you are going to fall back into the ignorance. Mistake that normally is made. That's what I said. The instinct or impulse, quiescent, desire extinguished, what place is there for works? Some mechanical necessity might remain, but no other. And even that would cease forever with the fall of the body. But after all, even so, while life remains, action is unavoidable. Mere thinking, or in the absence of thought, mere living is itself an act and a cause of many effects. The very fact that you are living in the physical world, your vital vibrations are going out, your mental thoughts are going out and affecting others. All existence in the world is work. So don't think that work is only physical work. The very fact of existing is work. All existence in the world is work, force, potency, and has a dynamic effect in the whole by its mere presence. Even the inertia of the cloud, even the silence of the immobile Buddha on the verge of nirvana. Now what he's saying is very interesting. We have to think about it. He's saying even the inertia of the cloud is having an effect in the physical world. Now isn't that interesting? Because let us take, when he's saying cloud, he means matter. Now, what about precious stones? They are also matter, but they are capable of absorbing vibrations from outside and also giving vibrations that can even go out of them. The best example of that is your blessings packet. Okay? The rose petals or the divine dalim, the divine love, that tree, those mother found that those petals are the most receptive to her force. So they are receiving forces and also they can vibrate. Mother had a very interesting story of how Madame Théon had given her something and she had kept it on herself. And she was going on. One day she found that she is feeling a little listless, a little as though something is missing. And then she found that by chance that what Madame Théon had given her was not there on her body. Then she realized that the power of even those type of leaves or the petals of a flower can protect you and give you energy. And that's why when she understood that, in the ashram she used to know that. Blessings packet is based on that truth. It's even known that even our semi-precious stones are told, people are told to use semi-precious stones. Today use yellow, today use red. That there is a truth in that. So when CWSA, even the inertia of the cloud, okay, I gave you examples of how it's possible for that cloud also to send out vibrations and to receive vibrations. That is the reason why we are told that blessings packets, after 6 months to 7 months, you can bury the old one, okay, not throw it away carelessly, bury the old one and use a new one. Okay. So there's a lot of sense in that. So now we can understand what you mean by that cloud. Okay. So, even the silence of the immobile Buddha on the verge of Nirvana. There is the question only of the manner of the action. How are you to do the work? You cannot avoid work. The instruments that are used are that act of themselves and the spirit and knowledge of the worker. This is what remains to be discussed. How to do the work. For in reality, no man works, but nature works through him for the self-expression of a power within that proceeds from the infinite. We know that very well. Our body-mind life, because of our ego, we think that we are doing things, but actually you are doing nothing at all. You are being made to do by nature. And this truth we can understand very well because the plants are growing. Are the plants thinking that I am growing? No, because they don't have an ego. But because they are growing, it is nature which is making them grow. The river is flowing, nature is making it flow. The plant is growing, the wind is blowing, or nature is doing everything. Okay? Physically, vitally, and even mentally also these vibrations are coming out. So that is the nature is making you do. But because you have an ego, you think that you are doing. This is an absolute illusion. There is a question that we read. For in reality no man works, but nature works through him for the self-expression of a power within that proceeds from the infinite. To know that and live in the presence and in the being of the master of nature, not nature but master of nature, free from desire and the illusion of personal impulsion is the one thing needful. So you can continue to do work, but you know that everything is being done by the master of nature. The Lord is doing through his deputy, which is nature. Nature is doing everything. The Lord is not doing anything directly. He does it through nature. So you are doing nothing at all. Nature is making you do. But you have the knowledge now that you are not doing it. So remain calm and quiet. That's what this. That and not the bodily cessation of action is the true release. The true release, that is moksha, liberation, is that you know that you are not doing it, and not the bodily cessation of action. But the bondage of works at once ceases. When you know that you are not doing anything, and you are absolutely calm and quiet and living in the self, which is immutable, remember? So if it is immutable, you are not doing any action at all. The consciousness is not doing any action. The body goes on doing action. Vital also goes on having desires. The mind also has thoughts. But all these you are not doing. Nature is making you do. So you are free, absolutely. That's what this matter. A man might still sit still and motionless forever, and yet be as much bound to the ignorance as the animal or the insect. It is not physical action. Cessation of physical action, that is liberation. Liberation is the consciousness that you are not the body-mind life anymore. That's why I said this. But if you can make this greater consciousness dynamic within him, then all the work of all the worlds would pass through him and yet he would remain at rest. Now, that's a very interesting one, because it corresponds to the Gita's, if you remember, chapter 2, verse 70. Gita says, Apuryamanam achalam pratishtham samudramapa pravishanti yadvat. You are absolutely calm and quiet like the ocean, and all these thoughts and vibrations and actions are coming into you, but they leave you absolutely calm. Just like the river which enters into the sea. But the sea is absolutely so infinite and so calm that no river entering into it disturbs it. Apuryamanam, becoming full. Acharam pratistham. Acharam, absolutely immobile. Pratistham, steady. Samudramapa pravishanti. Exactly like that, your consciousness also is absolutely free of all action, liberated. Action in the world is given us first as a means of our self-development and self-completeness. Your action is given to you, your body, mind, life are instruments for action, and they are given to you for development. You have to develop yourself, self-fulfillment and self-completeness. It would still remain as a means for the fulfillment of the divine intention in the world and the larger universal self of each being is approaching. So, once nature is doing with you and you are now free from nature's action, now you can become an instrument for the divine action and not the nature's action. Remember 3 levels? Level 1, you are identified with body, mind, life, and you are thinking that you are doing. Total illusion. It's an illusion. Second level, you go to the self, the spiritual planes of consciousness. Level 2, you are free. You know that you are not doing anything, and nature is moving your body, mind, life. Level 3, you identify yourself with the Purushottam, the Lord of Master of Works, and he can now use your body, mind, life for his own purpose through nature. Let's just say this. That completes the second paragraph. Then we come to the third paragraph. I am reading, you can also follow. In a certain sense, when his yoga has reached a certain culmination, why is Sindhu saying that? Because, in a sense, yoga can never reach a culmination. Okay. Isn't it? There is no end to your development. That's why. In a certain sense, when his yoga has reached a certain culmination, works cease for a man. In this sense, that he does not do anything. He is letting nature do through him. For he has no further personal necessity of works, no sense of works being done by him. But there is no need to flee from action or to take refuge in a blissful inertia. What Sindhu is saying is, although you are not doing anything, that doesn't mean to say that you stop doing anything. There is nothing you to do. Why to become full of inertia? For now he acts as a divine existence acts without any binding necessity and without any compelling influence. Even in doing works, he does not work at all because nature is working or the divine is working at the highest level. He undertakes no personal initiative. It is the divine Shakti that works in him through his nature. His action develops through the spontaneity of the Supreme Force by which his instruments are possessed, of which he is a part. His will is determined. His will is identical and his power is her power. Now, when you read the agenda, last towards 1970 onwards, that is exactly Mother's condition. She is doing nothing at all, and the divine is completely doing everything through her. The spirit within him contains, supports, and watches this action. Which action? The action which the Lord, Supreme Lord, is doing through you. You are through your body. It presides over it in knowledge, but is not glued or clamped to the world by attachment or pain. It is not bound by desire of its soul. It is not enslaved to any movement or impulse. So this is the third para. I'll quickly read the summary.
Gitanjali here. Somebody asked Napoleon that if you believe in destiny, why do you work so hard? And
Exactly.
he said that because it is destined that I should work.
Exactly. So there is an echo of this truth in what he is saying. Okay. So that's it. It's interesting. So I'm reading quickly the summary of this third paragraph. At the culmination of personal sadhana, even if relatively complete, there is no work that needs to be done by the individual after liberation. It is universal nature that does all works. The sadhaka sees that he does nothing at all. But even if a vague connection does exist with the outer nature of body, mind, life, he sees the action of his instruments, body, life, mind, to be mechanical, unconscious, executed by nature, not by him. There is no need for him to be engaged in karma. But there is no inevitable consequence that he must cut all links with the outer nature and remain fixed in a happy inactivity. So certainly saying it is true that you are not doing anything. But that does not mean to say that you will yourself not to do anything. Then you can continue to let the body, mind, life do what it's doing, not by your will, but by the divine will. There is no need for him to be engaged in karma. But there is no inevitable consequence that he must cut all links with the outer nature and remain fixed in a happy inactivity. Even while the outer nature is engaged in action, his soul is seated above in an immutable static state. He is now a channel for the divine Shakti to act through him in the lower nature. Of course, if the lower nature is defective, the work also will be proportionately defective. The individual consciousness is used by the divine power, which owes itself to him to work in the world. The liberated soul is not bound any more by the work being executed in his body, life, nor by desire, nor by any need. That is the reason why Shivam wants even perfection of the body, mind, life. So that the divine acting through your body, mind, life can do his will without any obstruction. So finally, Sindhu is saying in this chapter, he is fully free and is used by the Shakti for divine work in the world. This is the third para. And now we come to the fourth para. It is a common error to suppose that action is impossible or at least meaningless without desire. This is absolutely true at our level, but it's not true at a level where your soul goes out of your body, mind, life and remains up. Then it doesn't happen. Because you have no desire. And action continue. Even at our level, action is very often, Swami will tell you, that the action is without desire. A very easy example. What about sleepwalking? Okay. You are acting, but are you doing it out of desire? No. Okay. Even such simple thing that, suppose now we are reading and we are studying. Okay. Okay. But there is no desire, it's just we are doing it. There is some sort of desire for developing oneself, but mostly, for Sridhar will tell you, major part of work done in the universe is without desire. I am reading the second sentence. If desire ceases, we are told, action must also cease. This is a wrong idea, common error. But this, like other too simply comprehensive generalizations, is more attractive to the cutting and defining mind than true. It is not true at all, but the mind likes to think of it in that way. The major part of the work done in the universe is accomplished without any interference of desire. It proceeds by the calm necessity and spontaneous law of nature. Even man constantly does work of various kinds by spontaneous impulse, intuition, instinct, or action obedience to a natural necessity. Natural necessity, sleeping, eating, okay, performing the ablutions in the morning, all natural necessities. The law of forces without either mental planning or the urge of a conscious vital volition or emotional desire. This is my condition. When I'm eating, okay, it is mechanical action. I never feel hungry. If you're feeling hungry, there is a calm necessity. But if you don't feel hungry, you have to eat at a particular time. It's a mechanical action. Even man constantly does work of various kinds by spontaneous impulse, intuition, instinct, or action obedience to a natural necessity and law of forces without either mental planning or the urge of a conscious vital volition or emotional desire. Often enough, his act is contrary to his intention or his desire. Now that's a very interesting thing what he's saying. Often enough, his act is contrary to his intention or his desire. Very often you will tell people can tell you, hey, I didn't want to do that, but yet I went. Okay? So, this is exactly what he's saying. Often enough, his act is contrary to his intention or his desire. It proceeds out of him in subjection to a need or compulsion, in submission to an impulse, in obedience to a force in him that pushes for self-expression or in conscious pursuance of a higher principle. Desire is an additional lure to which nature has given a great part in the life of animated beings in order to produce a certain kind of rajasic action necessary for her immediate ends. Now, so desire has got a very, very potent and very important function in the world. Nature uses desire for her own ends. For instance, she has to continue with the race, okay, or the species. So she puts the desire of sex into it. So it comes automatically. Nature is doing a very clever thing. Okay. Now this is very interesting because this principle of desire is used even in economic theory. Okay? Suppose in one area of your country there is no development at all. Say it's a desertic area. So what the government says, anybody who goes there and puts up an industry and gives employment to people, it will really great service to the nation, and therefore we will not ask any tax from him, and he will get free electricity and he will get no taxes at all. So that is the desire, and so people go there. So desire is a very powerful tool to make you act. Nature is doing that, and sometimes man also uses the same process. So, it has its lesson one. Desire is an additional lure to which nature has given a great part in the life of animated beings in order to produce a certain kind of rajasic action necessary for her intermediate ends. But it is not her soul or even her chief engine. It has its great use. While it endures, it helps us to rise out of inertia. It contradicts many tamasic forces which would otherwise inhibit action. Now that's another reason why desire is put in. At the beginning, there is no life, there is only matter. Long ago, billions of years ago, there was only matter. But now how to make this matter which is absolutely static, how to make it work? So, life is put into it, and life is desire. So, you want to grow. Desire is, you want to get out of your static condition and grow. So that's why life is full of desire. Okay? Very interesting what he said. It has its great use while it is use. It helps us to rise up to inertia. It contradicts the many tamasic forces which would otherwise inhibit action. But the seeker who has advanced far on the way of works has passed. One second, I've lost. Yeah, but the seeker who has advanced far on the way of works has passed beyond this intermediate stage in which desire is a helpful engine. Now it's not a helpful engine at all. It's an obstruction. Its push is no longer indispensable for the action, but is rather a terrible hindrance and a source of stumbling, inefficiency, and failure. This is again, at each level, there is something that helps you to go up, and it becomes a bar. Ego was the helper, ego is the bar. It's true of everything. Okay? Life was the helper to come out of the static matter. Now it has become a bar. When you go to the mental level also, it gives you knowledge, so it's a big help. But it becomes a bar when you want to go up on the mind. This is true right up to the highest level. Its push is no longer indispensable for action, but is rather a terrible hindrance and a source of stumbling, inefficiency, and failure. Others are obliged to obey a personal choice or motive, but he, the one who is free, he has to learn to act with an impersonal or a universal mind, or as a part of an instrument of the infinite person. A calm indifference, a joyful impartiality. Interesting, see that. Joyful impartiality. Impartiality means you are absolutely not affected by anything. But it's a very joy, it's not a negative impartiality. It's a positive impartiality. A calm background of a certain happiness. A joyful impartiality or a blissful response to a divine force. Whatever is dictated is the condition of his doing any effective work or undertaking any worthwhile action. So, desire is not the right cause for action. Actually, it's the opposite. Desirelessness and a calm impartiality is the correct condition for true action. That's what they're saying. If you have desire, you will act, but all your actions will be full of falsehood and wrong actions. But if you are totally free of desire and impartial means no desire at all, everything that comes to you, you are accepting calmly, is the best condition for any action which is worthwhile. Not desire, but attachment. Not desire, not attachment must drive him, but a will that stirs in a divine peace, knowledge that moves from the transcendent light, a glad impulse that's a force from the supreme honor. So, we have come to 267. That means there are only 4 paragraphs. So, we have finished it. So, we have 4 minutes, so we'll read the next one so that we can say that we have made some progress today. Okay? Now, one of you read. That's usually, I don't read here, so one of you read. So, Acharya, if you are ready and you want to read, you can read. In an advanced stage of the yoga.
Am I audible, Rangada? Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, very audible.
Yes, we can hear you. Okay.
Yeah,
In an advanced stage of the yoga, it is indifferent to the seeker in the sense of any personal preference, what action he shall do or not do. Even whether he shall act or not is not decided by his personal choice or pleasure. Always he is moved to do whatever is in consonance with the truth or whatever the divine demands through his nature. A false conclusion is sometimes drawn from this, that the spiritual man, accepting the position in which fate or God or his past karma has placed him, content to work in the field and cadre of the family, clan, caste, nation, occupation, which are his by birth and circumstance, will not, and even perhaps ought not, to make any movement to exceed them or to pursue any great mundane end, since he has really no work to do, since he has only to use works, no matter what works, as long as he is in the body, in order to arrive at liberation, or, having arrived, only to obey the supreme will and do whatever it dictates, the actual field given him is sufficient for the purpose. Once free, he has only to continue working in the sphere assigned to him by fate, sorry, and circumstances till the great hour arrives when he can at last disappear into the infinite. To insist on any particular end or to work for some great mundane object is to fall into the illusion of works. It is to entertain the error that terrestrial life has an intelligible intention and contains objects worthy of pursuit. The great theory of illusion, which is a practical denial of the divine in the world, even when in idea it acknowledges the presence, is once more before us. But the divine is here in the world, not only in status, but in dynamism, not only as a spiritual self and presence, but as power, force, energy. And therefore, a divine work in the world is possible.
So, interesting what he's saying. He's saying that it is often thought that if you become free and you are in the self or even higher, you don't need to do any work in the physical world at all. And this idea is extended in such a way that if you are a carpenter and you have become free, continue to do carpentry work, not necessarily do anything else. So this idea is absolutely wrong. That's what Shri pointed out. You can of course become an instrument of the divine and do what he wants you to do, not what society is telling you to do. So this is the truth of what he's saying. So I'll read the summary of this one, and next time we will go to the next paragraph. It's already 8:40, but I'll quickly read the summary. When the sadhana has reached an advanced stage, the work itself that has to be done, if at all, is of no real importance, since the sadhaka is now open to the divine will, which decides everything. He personally wills or desires nothing. He is blissfully surrendered to the Lord in silence and does nothing at all. What work is to be done, whether work is at all necessary, is a divine that decides. Sometimes a wrong conclusion is arrived at, since the sadhaka has been placed in a certain situation or profession in a family or a caste, etc. He should continue the same without any change of circumstance. Before liberation or even later, all he has to do is to remain in the same previous activity until his body drops, or he can merge into the infinite. The idea that he could now do a much greater work after liberation and realization does not find favor with a common erroneous theory, because to do works is to enter into the field of ignorance. Once again, this very normal idea is, of course, this view is not that of the interior yoga. After all, the divine is here too in the physical world, even if in hiding. The divine is indeed in the world, not only in status, silent behind all forms, but also in dynamic action. All the action that is taking place is dynamically done by the divine. Therefore, the divine action in the world is indeed possible. This is what Shri is saying in this paragraph. You can do divine works. Remember the chapter heading is the divine work. So a divine work is possible in the physical world. This is what the integral yoga says. The others are saying, once you have got liberation, there is no work to be done in the physical world, because the world is to be given up. That's exactly the opposite view. Okay, so we stop here today. Somebody note down that we have to go to next. It's 268. There is no narrow principle. We'll take it up next week. On Thursday we are meeting for Latvian. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
Have a nice day, everybody.
Thank you, Ranga.
You
Thank you, Ranga.
too.
I'm closing.
Aroha.
Okay.
Thank
hello.
you, Dada.
Au revoir.
All right, I'm closing.